Welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, I'm finally recapping the season finale of season 1 of Bridgerton. The time has finally come for us to bid the show adieu until whenever season 2 comes out. Interestingly enough, several of the people who I discussed the show with, who, we enjoyed talking about how fine the Duke is and, Will Mondrick and all those things, they're not actually really too excited about season 2. And in a way I can understand, because the way that they wrapped up season 1, everything is wrapped up with such a good bow. Everything came to such a conclusive end that if we didn't see anything else from this show, the questions that we were left with aren't so big that we would be wondering until our dying day, what happened. So I personally am still excited for season 2 because I want more shows that are more of an easy watch. With everything going on, it's fun to just have something that's fantasy, that's pretty, that's, easy to watch. I'm excited for what songs they're going to remix with, strings next season. So I'm excited for season 2. Drop down in the comments, let me know if you are. Things are still awkward between Daphne and the Duke. From what I gather, I think that they both actually really want to forgive each other, but they both don't feel that the other one would forgive them. They both feel like they wounded the other one too much for their relationship to even have a chance anymore. And it's really interesting too, because Daphne has just resolved that they're just going to live separate lives, and she tells this to her mom, now that she knows she's not pregnant. She's like, it's just going to be what it's going to be. It's not going to be like how you and Dad were. And her mom finally, in a bit of uncharacteristic honesty, is like, your father and I's relationship was not without its trials. No one's relationship is. And I think that's something that's important for us to keep in mind even today. I think we get really caught up in romanticized versions of relationships. And don't get me wrong, I'm a person who, I don't really like buying into the marriage is hard, love is hard, relationships are hard, it's a battlefield, it's a war. I don't like really buying into that, because I think it gives people an excuse to stay in really toxic relationships because they're afraid of being alone. But that's a conversation for another video. But I do think that no relationship, no matter how good it looks on the surface or how good it may actually be from day to day, life happens. And because life happens, it's going to impact your relationship in some way. So I think it was really good that Daphne's mom finally kind of told her a little bit of honesty. And she was like, I can only tell you what I know. And that was what she knew. Lady Violet and the Viscount were known for, having an actual love marriage. But he died, and, she's, been missing him since then. But their relationship, even while he was here, there was love there, but it was a relationship. And I think it's important for Daphne to know that. And kind of, you can see her starting to kind of reframe things in her mind with her and Simon, that, okay, well, she's still really figuring out what marriage means and what marriage means for her and what her marriage is going to look like. Marina... draining ass Marina thinks that she's magically without child because of this potion tea that she made, where it's like, how did you even come up with the ingredients? Who told you that was gonna work? So she thinks that, she tells Penn, you were right about Colin, he's a good man, but I don't even have a baby no more, so I'm about to go back home. I'm done. And just then, the Featherington house gets an unexpected visitor in the form of her baby's uncle, basically. Philip shows up to tell Marina and the Featherington family that, in the most soapy, coincidental, sweet way, that, George was just in the middle of writing a letter back to Marina to let her know that he loved her and that he would marry her. They would run off and have their baby together. And he died in the war. And Philip is like, I know my brother would want you to be taken care of, so I'll marry you. And Marina turns him down because she really wants to marry for love. And okay, girl, I guess. We'll get back to her. Meanwhile, Lord Featherington bets his whole house on Will Mondrick throwing this fight, which he does, much to Simon's chagrin. And Simon has this thing that I just picked up on this final episode. He has this thing where he likes to kind of take his frustration out on Will. And Will finally was like, you're not mad at me for doing what I had to do for my family. You need to worry about your family. Go put your anger where it belongs. And again, I continue to stand Will Mondrick because he lives in the real world. Like, you need to go figure shit out with your wife. Don't worry about what I got going on mine. You know, and I just appreciate that. City Girl Sienna is at the fight with her new boo, and her and Anthony are sharing these, again, just soapy, dramatic, long glares across the way, and he looks away, and then she looks away, and then they look back, and I was like, okay, this is going on for a bit, but it was also quite entertaining. So they end up getting it in under the bleachers, child, and I was just like, well, I guess get it in where you got to, child. So, at the same time, Daphne discovers the letters that Simon wrote to his dad because Daphne really wants to understand. She's still very much in the dark about why this oath was even made to his dad. She keeps getting pieces of information, and he feels so much shame about who he is that he does not even want to fully tell her the truth of his relationship with his dad. So she goes, looking through his phone, old school. She finds letters that he once wrote to his dad that his dad never opened. And she learns that he had a speech impediment and how Lady Danbury really helped him through that. And this starts to give her some more insight into why Simon is the way that he is. And it kind of humanizes him and gives her just much needed information. You can't expect for people to move forward in a relationship where they're only getting half information. So that was really frustrating for me. Like, nigga, tell this girl what's going on. And Lady Danbury really lets Daphne know, his father was very cruel, and because he wasn't perfect, made him feel that he was not worthy of love. And we see that, come back in this very vulnerable moment towards the end, but we'll get there. So Lord Featherington thinks that they are, in the clear as far as their debts. The girls can get their dresses for the Hastings ball that Daphne and the Duke are hosting to close out the social season. And it's just so funny how everybody shades the Featheringtons for their style choices, which I enjoy the color. I'm a color girl, obviously. And Madame Delacroix is like, yeah, I had some fabric laying around that no one wanted, so here you are. But meanwhile, he's still like getting drunk and like really spending the money. Lord Featherington is a hot ass mess. It looks like Daphne is really making an effort to forgive the Duke by, having breakfast with him and inviting him over to her family's house because her sister has come in town. And, he's really cute with the kids. And of course, that's like a sore spot. So this just gives her not more questions, but just like, damn, you sure you don't want this for real? So Marina realizes that she's still pregnant. Of course you are. I love how the doctor was like, as if that was gonna work, girl. So she feels a bit helpless, as she should. Like, you ain't had no business turning down that man's proposal, no way. Where do you think you got all these options? And far be it for me to tell someone to settle, but during this time period, you ain't had no other options. So Anthony and City Girl Sienna link up, and Anthony decides that, his sister is a duchess, his brother-in-law is the Duke, so he, feels really empowered to kind of do what he wants to do at this point. He feels like, this is who I want to be with, so this is who I'm going to be with. And he invites Sienna to the ball, to the major, social event to close out the season. And she agrees, kind of. So Eloise, while at the ball, discovers this plot against Lady Whistledown when she tries to talk to the Queen to find out, like, where she is in the investigation. Now, again, Eloise is still under the impression with her draining ass that Lady Whistledown is Madame Delacroix. So knowing how her brother feels for Madame Delacroix, she really doesn't want to see anything bad happen to her. So she, foils this, late night plan to harm Madame Delacroix, or so she thinks. Penn and Colin finally confront each other at the ball, and he kind of apologizes, and Penn decides she's gonna tell him how she feels about him, but he kind of beats her to the punch at that, oh, I have something to tell you, I'll go first kind of thing that happens so much in shows. And he reveals to her that he is going away, and she's the one who inspired him to go travel because that's what he likes to do. And he's really young, so he's going to start his, tour of Europe. And this just destroys poor Penn. So, she's in shambles and, leaves the ball. And this is where we get to what was my favorite scene. Might have been my favorite. I know it's my favorite scene of the whole episode, maybe the season. I really think that Sienna is the hero of this whole thing because Antony shows up to take her to this ball because in Antony's mind, the most that a woman wants to be is a lady of high society, and he feels like he's elevating her to this place that he in his mind thinks she wants to be. And Sienna's boo answered the door, and I was like, ooh. And Sienna tells Antony, I thought about going, but ultimately, I don't really want this life. I'm very content with who I am. And I think, it became really clear to her that Antony was projecting onto her his ideas of what a woman wanted or what a woman's life could or should or would be. And she's like, listen, I'm a singer, I'm a performer. I want to live my life the way that I live my life. I, want to be out here singing operas and performing and whatnot and having men take care of me and pay for my life. And I don't really want what you have to offer. And I really admire her for knowing herself, for really knowing what it is that she wants out of life and not just bending or contorting to his desires. They've been doing this back and forth thing the whole season, and she's like, I'm good. And Antony, apologizes and is ultimately pretty heartbroken because Antony really has not even looked at another woman because he wholeheartedly really did love Sienna. So we're at the ball, as per, this whole thing's happening at the ball, and I really enjoyed this scene. Everyone's having a good time. Will is there with his boo. He done, iced her out or whatever. And it starts to rain. And first of all, again, I will never get over how beautiful the set design and the cinematography is for this show. It starts to rain. Everyone starts to kind of, move to the side. Daphne and the Duke are standing in the rain, alongside their oil portrait. I low-key also want an oil portrait of myself. And Lady Danbury, who is just HBIC, love her down, tells everybody it's time for them to go. And I think this scene, this rain scene really, my friend and I were talking that this rain scene really symbolized a washing away of sins for Daphne and the Duke, just, for them to get a fresh start. And they just kind of, dance and laugh in the rain. And really, this is their first time actually really letting their hair down. Because while they had this whole ruse going to fool everyone else, they kind of had a ruse going with each other. It's like they never fully let go and were vulnerable with each other, even after this whole thing happened with them giving people the impression they were together and then they were actually together. And this whole thing, this was them finally being naked with each other, like emotionally vulnerable and naked with each other. And I thought it was really, really beautiful, which also leads to them having this very vulnerable conversation where Daphne says, I know your dad made you believe that you have to be perfect in order to be worthy of love, but that is not true. And I love every part of you, even the parts that you're ashamed of. And I, in real life, that is the most that you can hope for from the people who you love and who love you, is that they will love you literally unconditionally. The parts of yourself that you feel like you have to hide from them are the parts of yourself that actually will really like endear you to people and humanize you. And you know, that kind of vulnerability, it signals to other people that they can be vulnerable, and that's how trust is built in a relationship. That's the foundation of trust, is that mutual vulnerability. And I was really happy that they actually got to this place in their relationship. I thought it was beautiful. Lord Featherington is dead, Shab. He went into that room in the brothel and ain't been seen since. I still haven't pieced together exactly what happened, but Lady Featherington goes and realizes that the money is gone, and she just finally breaks. You know, she's held it together a whole lot this whole season, you know, and she finally is just like, okay, I'm done. And honestly, fair, because she was, yeah, holding together a lot. So Marina decides to Marina decides to go ahead and marry the brother, because I guess she realizes like she doesn't have any other options. And, you know, she asks Lady Featherington, how do you build, you know, love where there is none? How do you marry without love? And she's like, you know, you find things to love. And it's, you know, it's sad. It's not something that you would want to see happen today, but this is best case scenario for Marina, is for her to marry someone who is honorable and able enough to provide for her, you know, since her baby daddy gone. Anthony gives up on love. You know, the family is seeing Colin off. He's starting his tour in the Mediterranean. The family is seeing him off. And he's just like, I'm just going to go ahead and just find a partner. Like, love don't have to have nothing to do with it. I'm just going to do my duties. Like, he has just completely given up. And I'm hoping, obviously, that we'll see more about that next season, like who he'll end up with and if he'll end up somehow just, you know, finding love. But yeah, he's pretty much given up because he's heartbroken that like the only person that he loved ended up not wanting him. So such is life. The Duke and Daphne have a baby. Why that baby so white? That baby don't look biracial at all. That is a white baby. That's a white baby. It comes out that Lady Whistledown is actually Penn. I was genuinely surprised the first time I saw this. I was genuinely surprised that it was Penn. They did a really good job of convincing me that it was Madame Delacroix, because she was there for so many of like the major, you know, for so much of the major tea. So I too thought that it was Madame Delacroix, but I'm wondering, did Eloise, in her realization that Madame Delacroix has, you know, gone off to Paris for a brief, you know, whatever. I wonder if there's some tea there. And yeah, I wonder why she went off to Paris. Is it just because it's the end of the social season, so people don't really need clothes right now? You know, what does she have to run off and go do? That I am curious about. Or maybe that's nothing. But did Eloise piece together that it is actually Penelope? So I guess we'll find out about that. The biggest I guess cliffhanger or prediction that I have, I think that Will Mondrick is going to be the one who owns the Featherington house. I think that's the name that was on the card. That's what I think. Drop down in the comments, let me know what y'all thought. Y'all know I have my good notebook with my notes. I just want to make sure that I did not miss anything. That's it, guys. That is season 1 of Bridgerton. I thoroughly enjoyed it and talking about it with you guys. So let me know in the comments, what are your predictions for season 2? Are you excited for season 2? Why yes? Why no? And yeah, let me know what you guys thought, what you're looking forward to. Be sure to subscribe and like and share and become a patron on my Patreon if you like what you saw here today and want to help me to continue creating free content. So I will see you guys soon. I review a lot of other shows, so check out my channel to see what else you may be interested in. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.